We are the Gujarat Technological University. Since its inception over a decade ago, GTU has been empowering young and curating minds to realize their true potential. Over 4 lakh inspired students are enrolled with one of the premier academic universities in India. With more than 450 affiliated colleges in its fold operating across 5 zones of the state, GTU, the International Innovative University, your place to move forward.
Welcome back everyone. We are into now second lecture of refrigeration and air conditioning with the topic of psychrometry. So let's begin. So first of all, we will be doing some revision of our previous lecture, and then we will go into the new topic. As I told you in my previous lecture, that psychrometry is the science of studying the thermodynamic properties of moist air. The atmospheric moist air consists of 2 things, dry air and water vapor. Then we studied about Dalton's partial pressure law, in which the total pressure is summation of the 2 pressures that we also derived. Then we studied about dry bulb temperature, wet bulb temperature, wet bulb depression. This is the thermometer which is used for measurement of DBT and WBT. Then we studied about saturated air, specific humidity. We also had a derivation of this, which is the important equation of specific humidity. Then the last topic of our previous lecture was absolute humidity or vapor density. Okay, so let's begin with our new topics for today. Pressure of water vapor, PV. For this we will be directly utilizing one equation which is already derived by Carriers. So the partial pressure of water vapor is given by this formula. We need to remember this equation because we are not going into derivation of this equation, that is PV is equal to PW minus PB minus PW into TD minus TWB divided by 1544 minus 1.44 TW. And these are the nomenclatures that you are already aware of. This nomenclature, PW is the saturation pressure of water vapor corresponding to the wet bulb temperature. PB is the barometric pressure, TD is the dry bulb temperature, and TBW is the wet bulb temperature. So we will be simply remembering this equation without going into much detail of this. So we are done with pressure of water vapor, PV. Now our next topic is relative humidity, phi, which is comparatively more important topic in psychrometry. So it is the ratio of actual mass of water vapor in a given volume of moist air to the mass of water vapor in the same volume of saturated air at the same temperature and pressure. Let me repeat that relative humidity is one form of ratio in which numerator will be actual mass of water vapor in the given volume of moist air divided by the mass of water vapor in a saturated air. So in the numerator we will be having unsaturated air, and in the denominator we will be having saturated air. So this is the formula for that. Phi is equal to mv upon ms. So this will be the mass of water vapor in a given volume in unsaturated air divided by the mass of water vapor in saturated air. Okay, so we are again utilizing the gas equation here, and if you know PV is equal to MRT, PV is equal to MRT, so on basis of that we have written this simplification, that instead of MV we are writing down PV VV divided by RV TV. divided by ms is PAVA RATA. So as you know, here I had written same temperature, so we can eliminate T and it will be in the same volume, so we can also eliminate V. So we are left with PV RA upon PA RV, and we are also aware of the values of gas constant for air and water vapor, so we have put those values here. So we have reduced this value up to this. Now assuming saturated air and water vapor to behave as a perfect gas. So the meaning is that if we are using if we are idealizing it as a perfect gas, then we can utilize the gas equation also. So for saturated air we can write down this, and for water vapor we can write down this. Okay, these are straightforward equations. Now volume is remaining same, temperature is remaining same, and for these two the value of gas constant will also be same. Okay, so we are left with phi is equal to mv upon ms, which was our standard formula, which is equal to now pv upon ps. Okay, and for saturated air relative humidity is 100%. So now we are into our new topic, which is degree of saturation, that is mu. It is the ratio of actual mass of water vapor in a unit mass of dry volume, dry air, to the mass of water vapor in the same mass of dry air when it is saturated at the same temperature. So again let me repeat this, it is a ratio of what? In the numerator we will have mass of water vapor in a unit mass of dry air, to in the denominator mass of water vapor in the same mass of dry air when it is saturated at the same temperature. So now this might be slightly confusing, because if you go into our previous definition of relative humidity, it looks very similar, but the only difference here is in relative humidity we were taking volume as a reference, that the volume was same, given volume, while if you see here, in case of degree of saturation we are having unit mass of dry air. So that is the difference. Okay, here we are taking mass as a reference to define degree of saturation. It may also be defined as a ratio of actual specific humidity to the specific humidity of saturated air at same dry bulb temperature. Okay, so in the numerator we will have actual specific humidity, and in the denominator we will have specific humidity of saturated air at the same dry bulb temperature. So we are going to define degree of saturation in this way, that is mu is equal to W upon Ws. So W is specific humidity. Now if you had attended previous lecture carefully, then you should remember these two equations. So for W, this is the equation specific humidity, that is 0.622 PV upon PB minus PV, and similarly we can also write down for the denominator also. So now we have eliminated these two and we have simplified this equation, and if you recall, we can put something instead of PV upon PS. Okay, first of all we will simplify this bracket term. Okay, that is simple basic mathematical simplification we have done. And as I was telling you, instead of PV upon PS, I have written phi, which is the relative humidity as per definition of our previous topic. And based on this equation, I have made phi as a subject in this, and we have reduced this equation up to this. Okay, you should take some time to go from this equation to this equation, but it is quite easy and you can easily obtain this equation out of this. So here I would like to point out few things regarding saturation. So for that purpose we will go into one figure. So we will draw TS diagram for explanation of saturation. So if you recall, we will have T on the y-axis and S, that is entropy, on the x-axis. And as usual we will be using red color for drawing or mentioning the saturation lines. So we will begin with the point, let us say this point, which this blue color point is the condition or state of the moist air, and let me denote this as point number 1. Okay, now for this state of moist air we can measure the dry bulb temperature with our usual thermometer, and let us say that the temperature of point 1, that is dry bulb temperature of point 1, is denoted as TD. Okay, now we will see that how we can obtain the saturation in this figure. So for that purpose what we will be doing, one more thing I wish to inform you here, that this point 1 is at some pressure. So we will be drawing a constant pressure line passing through point 1. So this will be constant pressure line, which is PV. Let me clarify that this green color line, green curve, is not any kind of process. Okay, so this is our point 1. Okay, now what we are going to do here is we will be adding water vapor, we will be adding water into this. Water will be added in this unsaturated air. So once the water is added, it will get evaporated and specific humidity will increase. So the process that will look in this way, up to this exactly. So we are going from point 1 till this point, which will be denoted as 2 prime. And so what we have done, let me repeat that, from this point, point 1, we have added water into this unsaturated air, which will increase the specific humidity and it will reduce the entropy at the constant temperature. So TD is not getting changed here. Okay, now as you should understand that now we are not at PV, now we are at some another pressure. At the same time, one thing which you need to observe, that now we have reached up to the red color curve, that is the saturation vapor curve. This is saturation liquid curve and this is saturation vapor curve. Okay, so this is a different pressure. So we have reached up to some another pressure, and this is another constant pressure line or isobaric line. And this pressure line is denoted as P S. So this PV stands for vapor pressure and this PS stands for saturation pressure. Okay, so beyond that we cannot reduce the pressure because we have reached up to the limit. And if you recall our definition of saturated air, that in a given air we can keep on adding water vapor, but there will be a limit beyond which we cannot add further water vapor, and this is the point 2 prime. Okay, and this is the isothermal way in which we have obtained the saturation part. Okay, so the water vapor is now saturated at state 2 prime, and air containing moisture in such state is called saturated air. So 2 prime is the saturation point, and at this state air is holding the maximum amount of water vapor. So that was the one important point I wanted to inform you here. Now we will go into our theory part again through presentation. So we have derived up to this. We have already done this. So now our next topic is dew point temperature. So this is the temperature at which an air at any relative humidity ratio would reach vapor pressure saturation condition by gradual cooling. Okay, and in another way, it is the temperature at which water vapor in air is saturated, and if cooling is continuous, then at constant temperature condensing of water vapor starts. So we will try to understand this definition through one figure also. So the basic idea or basic fundamental behind this dew point temperature is, for a given state of moist air, if we gradually cool it, then at one particular temperature the situation will come where the water vapor will start condensing. So droplets will be observed at this temperature. Okay, and you must have seen this during a cricket match where dew is an important factor, where droplets of water are found in the cricket ground and it becomes difficult for spinners to bowl. Okay, so that is the state where the water vapor comes out as a water droplets from the atmosphere. So we will go into a bit technical in this and try to understand this with our figure. So we will again go back to our this figure, in which again our starting point is point number 1. So we will forget this 2 prime for a while because we are now into learning about dew point temperature. So we are planning to gradually cool it. So our objective is to cool, correct? So what does it mean by cooling? Cooling means the temperature will get reduced. At the same time, the entropy will get reduced. So we should observe a slope which is going in this way. So we can reduce, we can keep on reducing, the temperature. Entropy will also keep on reducing, and we will now come to a limit where we have reached up to this red curve. So we cannot go downward beyond this. So this is one point let us say this as point number 2. Okay, so now we are from 1 to 2. So you can observe that from 1 to 2 this process is a gradual cooling process in which temperature has reduced and entropy has also reduced. Now as we were mentioning that point 1 is known as TD, which is dry bulb temperature, which is measured by our normal thermometer. So we should have some another temperature signifying this point 2. So this will be, let me put it over here, that this value is denoted as T D P. So what is DP? DP stands for dew point temperature. Okay, now let us say that we have reached up to this saturation point, that is point number 2. Now suppose we further try to cool it, then what will happen? It will not go downward, the temperature will not reduce now, but what will happen now is condensation will start. That is, it will go in this way. That is, you will observe a pure horizontal curve which signifies the phase change process which is happening. Okay, so what is this? The droplets which we see on a cricket ground has arrived from this process. That is, till point 2 it was still in vapor phase, that is, water was still in vapor phase till point number 2, but as it has crossed this red curve or saturation vapor curve, it has now started to convert from vapor to liquid. So this process is going from vapor to liquid, correct? So here all droplets, all water vapor will be fully converted into water droplets. So this temperature, this part is the dew point temperature, that once we reach till dew point temperature, then the condensation of water vapor starts beginning. Okay, so that was the fundamental of this. Now we will again repeat this point, that dew point temperature, it is the temperature, it is the temperature at which an air at any relative humidity ratio reach water vapor saturation condition by gradual cooling, that we saw in our figure, and it is also the temperature at which the water vapor in air is saturated, and if cooling is continuous, then at constant temperature condensing of water vapor will start. It is also called saturation temperature. And for saturated air, DBT, that is dry bulb temperature, WBT and DPT will be same. So this point, at this point number 2, we will have dry bulb temperature, wet bulb temperature and dew point temperature as same. So now we will go into the next topic, which is enthalpy of moist air. So as we have been studying since beginning of this chapter, that moist air contains two things. Number one is pure dry air and second is water vapor. So the enthalpy of atmospheric air is the sum of individual enthalpies of dry air and water vapor. And now this will include sensible heat as well as the latent heat of water vapor. Why we need to count for sensible and latent heat? Because water vapor will go through a phase change. That's why these two separate heats should be counted. So the enthalpy of moist air is equal to enthalpy of dry air and plus enthalpy of water vapor. So capital H is equal to HA plus HV. Now capital H is equal to MAHA plus W MVHV. Now on a first sight, this W might surprise you that why W is coming here. Otherwise it should have been simply MAHA plus MVHV. However, in a particular mass of atmospheric air, this water vapor is not of unit mass. Only a some portion or some percentage of mass is present as water vapor. So W will count for those percentage of water vapor which is present inside the whole atmospheric air. So W is necessary for this portion. That if you take this MWHV, then you are counting full enthalpy of water vapor. However, only a few portion is present in the overall atmospheric air, so this W will count for that. Now enthalpy of dry air assuming perfect gas, that is HA is equal to CPAT. See, HA is specific enthalpy, correct? So M is taken as unity here. So it is simple formula that H is equal to MCPT. Now enthalpy of water vapor. Now this will be slightly different. Why this is different? Because HV is equal to HF plus HFG. That is, it is containing the enthalpy of sensible heat of liquid phase plus the latent portion of phase change. Okay, and this formula is applicable only for saturated vapor, that is CPW TDP plus HFG dP. Now we will go back into our figure. That suppose we further go till this point, correct? Then this portion will be H F G, that is this portion, this is G, okay? And this portion is H F G. Okay, so if we need to calculate the enthalpy of saturated air, that is saturation point is currently is 0.2, so we need to calculate HFG, which will be here plus this. Okay, so now you should be able to understand this portion. Now what will be there for superheated water vapor? Here we have added third term for superheat. That was, if you recall our basic diagram for water, then this was also present as a superheat. Okay, CPS into T minus TDP, that is, they are talking about this portion. This portion will be the portion for the superheat. Okay, we can write down this as H sup. Sup stands for superheat. So now again, so this is done. And these are few nomenclatures which are necessary. Okay, we are done with this. Okay, we have arrived up to this. Now these are nomenclatures for this. CPA stands for specific heat of dry air, CPW is specific heat of water, CPS is specific heat of superheated vapor. So all values are given. HFG dP is latent heat of vaporization at dew point temperature, which is 2501 kilojoule per kg at 0 degree Celsius, and TDP is dew point temperature and T is dry bulb temperature. Now we have utilized values of C over here, so we have arrived up to this. And for ideal gas at low pressure, enthalpy is a function of temperature only. So HV is equal to H1 prime is equal to H1 double prime. We will try to understand this part with a figure. So we will start with a new figure. So we will again start with TS diagram. Red color will indicate saturated liquid line and saturated vapor line, and our point was point number 1 with blue color. That is, let us denote this as 1. Let me take it as a prime. Now if you recall our previous explanation, then we were adding water vapor into this. So once we add water vapor, the water will be added, so it will get evaporated and the entropy will reduce. It will reduce. Let us say we are reaching point number 1. This is point number 1. Then if we further go beyond this, okay, one more thing we will do, that let us say that this value, this will be PV, okay, and we can further go beyond this 1 point through dots, and we may reach this point, that is denoted as, let us say, 1 double prime. That is, in our previous figure it was denoted as 2 prime. So what is the reason behind going in this slightly different way? That here we assumed that for ideal gas at low pressure, enthalpy is function of temperature only. So here all the enthalpy of all 3 points will be function of temperature only. And if you recall, then this is the point where we can denote it as T. So enthalpy of all these 3 points will be same. Why? Because we are, first of all, we are assuming this as an ideal gas, and number 2, in such cases the enthalpy is function of temperature only, and the temperature for all these 3 points is same. So enthalpy will also be same. Okay. Okay, now the enthalpy at 1 prime is given by this formula, that is h1 prime is equal to hfg0 plus cps t minus 0. So we will try to understand this formula, that from where enthalpy is arrived with this equation. Let me you can write down this equation currently in your notebook while understanding this figure. Please write down this, that h1 prime is equal to hfg0 plus cps t minus 0. You can pause this video if you want to note down everything while understanding our TS diagram. Now again we are back with this figure, in which we will try to understand that formula. So let us say that we are gradually cooling this 1 prime point. So we will begin with 1 prime and we will keep on reducing the temperature. So as we are reducing, temperature is reducing, entropy is also reducing, and we have reached up to this point. Now to understand that formula in which 0 degree was coming, because here we are taking this as a 0 degree Celsius. Okay, now if we condense this further, then this will be the latent portion, that is so this is this part, this is H F G0, that is the first term we had used. Okay, and this is this point, this portion is C P S. C should be slightly bigger here, which is T minus 0. Okay, so this is the way we have done this. Okay, now these are two values which are put, that is 2500 one is for HFG at 0 degree Celsius and CPS stands for 1.88 and T is as it is. Now the enthalpy of moist air is given by HA plus WHV, okay, which is, see, the H1 prime, the thing which we have calculated is only for vapor, that is water vapor, that is this portion is coming as HV. W is the specific humidity, and HA is Cp into T because it is behaving as an ideal gas. So HA is equal to Cp into T, and this Cp is 1005, 1.005, which is Cpa into T. Now this is the complete formula, which is not with reference to the 0 degree Celsius. Now it is with reference to the another temperature, which is TDP. Okay, so to understand this formula, we will again go back to figure. So I suggest you to pause this video and write down this formula in your notebook. So I hope you have written this formula in your notebook, and we will go back into our figure. So now rather than taking 0 degree Celsius as a reference point, we will take another temperature which is actually the dew point temperature. So we will be taking dew point temperature as a reference in this figure. So first of all we are going from 1 prime to 1, then from 1 we are gradually cooling it. So we have cooled this up to this, and then we are going with condensation part. So let me remind you, the direction of figure is going in this way for every figure. Okay, so this temperature, the temperature which is here is actually T dP, that is dew point temperature. So even if we go into this sensible part with dotted line, so if you see, three things are coming into picture. First will be this, that is this will be CPW TDP, then this will be HFGDP, and this will be the superheat part. So that you can see this three dots. So 3 will comprises of total enthalpy of the moist the water vapor for point number 1. So we have calculated this for point number 1. So if you see, this portion is already explained with 3 dots in that figure. That first is the portion for sensible heat of water, this is the evaporation part, and this is the superheat part. Okay, and this W is specific humidity, and CPA T is the enthalpy due to the dry air which is present, pure dry air. Okay, so now only simple mathematics is remaining in this. So we are taking the terms for T together. So we have taken T as a common and we have put all this. Then we have taken TDP and then separate for this HFGDP. We have simply put CPW minus CPS values here. Okay, nothing new. And we have arrived up to this. Only simplification is there, nothing new. Where the term CPA plus W CPS is called humid specific heat, CPM. So you can simply replace this bracket with CPM. Okay. So this is end of today's lecture. We will still once again go through all the points. That today we started with pressure of water vapor PV, which is direct formula we will be using in numericals. Then we studied about relative humidity phi, in which ratio of actual mass of water vapor in given volume to mass of water vapor in saturated air for the same volume. So in relative humidity we were having volume as a reference. We utilized the gas equation, then we again utilized it and we arrived up to this. Then degree of saturation, it is the ratio of mass of water vapor in a unit mass of dry air to mass of water vapor in the same mass of dry air when it is saturated at the same temperature. It is so here we are taking unit mass as a reference. In previous definition it was given volume, here it is unit mass. It may be defined as ratio of actual specific humidity to specific humidity of saturated air at the same dry bulb temperature. That is this. Okay, these are all mathematical portion. We are not going back into this. Then dew point temperature, the temperature at which water vapor in the air is saturated, and if further cooling is done, then condensation will start, that is water droplets will be found. It is also called as saturation temperature, and at this condition dry bulb temperature, wet bulb temperature and dew point temperature will be same. Then we studied about enthalpy of air, which is combination of dry air and water vapor. Then for dry air we can simply use HA is equal to CPAT. For water vapor we need to take care of sensible as well as latent part. Okay, first equation is for saturated water vapor, second is for superheated. Then we applied all these values, and for ideal gas at low pressure these enthalpies will be same because they are function of temperature only. And we took the enthalpy at 1 prime with 0 degree Celsius reference, and we derived the total enthalpy of moist air. Then we took another dew point temperature as a reference and tried to obtain these formulas. Okay, so this is the end of today's lecture. So I hope that you enjoyed today's lecture, and if you have any form of queries you can put it in comments and I will try to explain them. And in next, so we are done with all the definitions of psychrometry, which are all important, and now we will go in during our next lecture we will begin with psychrometric chart, and then we will move forward to the psychrometric processes. Okay, see you in the next video. Thank you.